following is brought to you by Cranbrook Television Limited.
Welcome to Round Town.
1978 Sam Steele Days Parade.
1980, there's a period.
Welcome to Rocky Hockey.
This is my guest, Roy Orbison.
Visiting Kimberley, just finished addressing the Cranbrook Chamber of Commerce luncheon meeting. Mr. Minister, one of your points in your address this afternoon that sparked my interest, coming from a small business background, as you do yourself, is a new plan or a new development in small business incentives from the social credit government. What is happening here? This sounds pretty exciting to me.
Well, it's very exciting, and people from the Kootenays can take some credit for this program, because your mayor sat on the task force that got input from all over the province. The task force was comprised of small business people from all 8 regions of the province. They presented a report to the government, to my ministry, and as your mayor said today, he was a bit surprised because we actually acted on it and actually brought forward the programs that they had recommended. So the good news is, first of all, that the 3 programs that I announced today replace about 17 programs that were in the ministry.
So the access to the programs is going to be less cumbersome and
much easier. And I have to confess that one of the reasons we did this was that I couldn't get a handle on all 17 programs. And so I sort of said to myself, if I as the minister can't get a handle on them, how do we expect people out there who are looking for help to get a handle on them? So we've reduced the 17 to 3, and the 3 are the business startup program, the small business assistance, and the business expansion programs. Very simple, no acronyms, but we hope that they'll be simple to apply for and simple to deliver.
Through the major lending institutions, which again, you're short-circuiting some of the bureaucracy, I guess, to get through to these aids.
Well, that's another first. We've always had difficulty getting the banks to take an active role in delivering these programs. This time, the Canadian Bankers Association has said, hey, we like those programs, we're going to help you. The credit unions have always been very responsive, very good, and they, of course, are involved as well. The information will be available at the new Access Centre and through the regional development officers.
One thing I noted that outside of the Lower Mainland, it appears that we're getting a little extra help in some of the incentives.
Well, I like to say that the programs are super programs, but if you're outside of Vancouver, they're even better.
That's a change, isn't it?
Yeah, that's another change, and I think, again, we recognize that it's not as easy sometimes when you're outside of the Lower Mainland to get the cooperation from your banks or other lending institutions. They seem to be sort of focused on the Lower Mainland. We are focused not only on the Lower Mainland, but on the regions of the province. We see the regions of the province as the areas where the wealth is generated, and they deserve, the people who live in the regions deserve access to programs. They deserve good access, and we're making it better for them.
Effective dates?
July 1 on the startup program. The other 2 are in effect right now.
All right. The BC Government Access Centre, you've had a role to play in that for sure, and I know you're excited about being here in the opening. It happened very fast for us.
It happened very fast. As a matter of fact, we don't even have one in my hometown of Courtenay, but we're going to work on changing that. But this is a brand new access centre. I had a chance to drive by it. I'm now on my way over to cut the ribbon to open it. It's one-stop shopping for the public who needs help or access to government programs. Instead of having to wander from building to building around town, we say, look, here's the place that you come, and you'll be able to get the help that you need.
As Minister of Regional and Economic Development, you're off to Kimberley. Kimberley is synonymous, particularly in this part of the country, with Cominco. Is anything developing there?
Well, I understand that the labor negotiations are ongoing. I have appointed a task force to deal with Kimberley. Mayor Jim Ogilvie and his council, I think, have done a phenomenal job, as has your mayor here in council in being supportive. I think the community is, as you know, they picked themselves up by their bootstraps and they're saying, hey, we're not going to be dependent on one industry any longer. We're going to diversify our base. We, as a government, are encouraging industries to look at Kimberley and to look at Cranbrook, to look at the East Kootenays in particular. It's a great place to live. The quality of life here is second to none.
Just ask any one of us who live here.
That's right. So we see lots of good things, good positive things for the Kootenays, for these Kootenays.
You're having some talks with perhaps some potential job opportunities as far as industry is concerned in here?
Yes, we've been working and massaging a couple of companies, and we're trying to massage them into the Cranbrook Kimberley area. I can't tell you who they are, obviously, but we've been holding discussions with them. We're meeting with them today, and we're hoping that we can use the influence of government to encourage them into these communities.
Mm-hmm. Mayor Rick Jensen made note of small business and how very important it is to the survival of not only this area but the country itself, and being less reliant upon the major resource industries in this particular area. We still need them. There's been some talks about the thermal coal plants and hydro plants in the Elk Valley area. Are they still talking? Is it still alive?
Yeah, as you probably know, and as your viewers know, they didn't make the first cut with hydro, but they are going to reapply, so the proposal is not dead. Terry Segerty has been working very, very hard on that particular issue, and is pounding the desks down in Victoria looking for some action. It's a question of economics and payback, and but we'll continue to look at that.
I have to ask, have you had any opportunity to talk with the Premier at Meech Lake and the reaction?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was at caucus yesterday. The Premier gave us a brief report, and I think there's sort of a combination reaction, sort of a reaction of, well, thank goodness that's over, you know, the week-long meeting, the 70-odd hours of negotiations. But I think it's going to take a period of time, assuming that the Newfoundland legislature and the Manitoba legislature pass the agreement. It's still going to take a bit of time for Canadians to become accustomed to what this really means, what it is. But I think as a Canadian, I'm pleased that Canada is whole, that it's the Canada that I grew up with, and I hope that it's the Canada that I will continue to live with.
Yes. Some overtones, or undertones, maybe I might say, of an election in your talk this afternoon. Am I close? Is it soon?
Well, as you know, we're now about 3.5 years into our mandate, and which gives us 1.5 years left on a 5-year mandate. And generally, governments in this province have gone to election about every 3.5 to 4 years. So you always have to be ready for that, but it's at the Premier's call, as you know. But as MLAs, we have to be cognizant of that and work towards getting elected in our own ridings, and at the same time getting out the good news of what the government has done throughout the province.
Thank you very much. Continued success in your ministry, and especially for our area as well.
Yeah, no, this is a great area. As a matter of fact, I have to say that in my former ministry as Minister of Advanced Education and Job Training, I think I visited the Kootenays more than any other region. So I'm quite used to being here.
We're happy to have you back.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Minister Stan Hagen, Minister of Regional and Economic Development. For Cranbrook Cable TV Channel 11, I'm Gerry Ridgley.
On behalf of the staff of the Cranbrook BC Access Centre, welcome. I would also like to welcome our honoured guest, Mr. Hagen, Minister of Regional and Economic Development, His Worship Mayor Rick Jensen, and His Worship Jim Ogilvie from Kimberley. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official opening of the BC Access Centre, which has been constructed the last part of last year and the first part of this year. We are understandably proud of our new facility, and we are pleased to be part of a new concept which will improve the public access to the government programs and services. I would now call on His Worship Rick Jensen for an official welcome.
Thank you, Wally. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special day in Cranbrook with the opening of this new access center. Mr. Minister, I'm thankful that that the government has agreed to the expansion of the service delivery of provincial services within our region, and this will go a long way taking us to the next step. I have dressed up like I am for 3 reasons. One, it's the start of our community celebration, Sam Steele Days, and you will be seeing lots of people throughout the community over the next few days dressed in vintage clothing and Western clothing. It's going to be as good as we want to make it, and I think even in spite of the cooler weather, we can have a grand time. One thing that I have noticed for the first time in my 14 years of being in this province is the lush green that's all around us because of the moisture. It looks like the lower mainland, so you haven't got anything on us this time. The other reason is the opening of this facility. We've worked long and hard to create the economy and the atmosphere that will resulted in this building. And the third thing was as a special welcome to the minister. Thank you for being here.
And from our neighboring city, His Worship Mayor Jimmy Ogilvie.
Thank you very much, Wally, and good afternoon, everyone. I, too, would like to welcome the Minister to the region. We're especially looking forward to the opening of this particular centre. I think it's been much needed. Providing easy access to the general public for all the government services has long been a problem in our region. And as a result of having this particular centre, I think the public will be better served in the future. As well, I want to thank the Minister for agreeing to come to Kimberley and talk a little bit about economic development after the meeting here. But I want to be sure that that everyone knows that we in Kimberley support the development of this facility, and we hope that it's going to be the tremendous success that we all think it's going to be. Thank you.
Mr. Hagen, the Minister of Regional and Economic Development, was appointed in November 1989. Prior to this appointment, from November 86 to November 89, he was Minister of Advanced Education and Job Training. In this portfolio, he spearheaded the Access for All post-secondary strategy to 15,000 new student spaces in the regions throughout BC. He enhanced BC student financial programs, initiated a $110 million fund to match private sector donations for BC universities. Now, as appointed as Minister of Regional and Economic Development, he's responsible for fostering an environmentally sound economic growth and diversification of and ensuring access to government services in all regions of the province. Created the Regional Development Board and a committee of ministers and MLAs directing regional development initiatives. He was also responsible for the Triumph K-On project, BC's proposal to enhance Canada's international reputation in leading-edge science of particle physical research. Please join me in welcoming the Minister to Cranbrook.
Well, thank you very much, Walter, and mayors and distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen. As I said at lunchtime, it is great to be back in Cranbrook. When I was the Minister of Advanced Education and Job Training, I think I visited the Kootenays more than any other region, and I'm not exactly sure why, except that we must have done a lot of openings and announcements of new facilities. But it is great to be back, and especially to be here for the opening of this new Access Centre. I'm really impressed with the crowd of people that are here this afternoon. We had 90 people for lunch earlier. We have more than 90 people here, and I want to thank you all for being here. I'm pleased to bring you a message from MLA Dwayne Crandall, who wanted to be here today but couldn't be because he couldn't get leave from the House, and he tried to make a deal with me where I would give up my leave, and I said, no way, I've got a chance to go up to the Kootenays. You're going to have to wait for another time. But he does send his greetings to all of you. I understand that there will be greetings brought, I guess, just after my talk from MLA Ann Edwards. Really pleased, Mr. Mayor, that you're here, the best dressed mayor in the province of British Columbia. I understand he wears this all the time, and I want to congratulate you for that. Also, to have Mayor Jim Ogilvie here, the mayor of Kimberley. I want to say a couple of words about these mayors. They have been a tremendous support from this area. They don't hesitate to phone up either myself or other ministers when they want some help from the provincial government. I think they've done a tremendous job in building positive attitudes in both the community of Cranbrook and the community of Kimberley. And that's important and should be recognized by the citizens of these communities. I also want to thank Mayor Jensen for his participation in the Small Business Task Force as a member of that task force, who brought the recommendations to me for the programs that I announced at noon today. And without the input from the regions of the province, we would not have been able to develop the programs that are as good as they are. I want to acknowledge a couple of other, or several other people in the audience. I have Mr. Bill Mitchell here from Victoria, who's the Director of Government Agents for the province. Bill, you want to hold up your hands? Now, we also have some very special people, and these are not in any particular order, but we have George Haddad here, who used to be the Social Credit MLA and also a mayor, and he was here in 1955 for the opening of the first government agent's office. George, where are you? Can I? Okay, there he is. We also have Leo Nimsic here, who was the NDP representative for the government, who was also here in 1955 for the opening of the office. We have Sid Parker here, who's the MP, your federal representative. Good to see you again, Sid. And this one is kind of special. We've got a gentleman named Ed Headley, who is the retired government agent, has been retired for 23 years, and is 88 years of age tomorrow. So we wish him welcome here today and also a happy birthday tomorrow. There he is. As Cranbrook is a growing community and the major center for the Kootenays, it is only fitting that it be the first community in the Kootenays, in the Kootenay Development Region, to have an access center. The opening of this access center reflects the growth taking place in your community. Our government has been actively involved to promote sustainable economic development and growth and diversification in the Kootenays. I forgot to mention another dignitary who's here, Jake McGuinness. I'm sorry, Jake. I don't know how I could forget to mention that you're here. If I was still the minister in charge of your college, I know you'd get back at me for forgetting to acknowledge you.
It hasn't changed that much.
For example, municipalities in the Kootenay area will receive grants in revenue sharing program with the provincial government this year, increased by $160,000, roughly $160,000 increase. The $1.86 million Expo Legacy Fund grant will now be used in the construction and renovation of the Baker High School City of Cranbrook Theatre 86 auditorium. And we have appointed a task force to deal with the special economic challenges that the community of Kimberley faces. This Cranbrook Access Centre is one of the several access centres across the province. And judging by the success of the other centres, I know that the Cranbrook Centre will enhance access to government services, and that the people of Cranbrook and Kimberley will be very pleased and will use this centre a great deal. The Access Centre concept is clearly an idea whose time has come. These centres ensure that British Columbians have easy access to the government services which they use most frequently. In fact, this is a cornerstone of our regional development strategy, a strategy that is based on regional input and local participation. Access centres are a vital link in promoting sustainable economic development and diversification throughout the province. Here at this Access Centre, you will find under one roof the government agent, consumer taxation branch, boiler, electric, gas, and elevating device inspection, district mines inspector, employment standards branch, the liquor inspector, motor vehicle regional director, and the motor license branch. In addition, we are providing space for various visiting services from out of the area. As well, I'm pleased to tell you that the Kimberley residents will have toll-free telephone access to this centre. Through this Access Centre, we are ensuring that all Kootenay residents can quickly and easily get the information, the assistance that they need from the provincial government. Excellence in government service is indeed the main goal of the Access Centre, and I would like to personally thank all of the staff for the superb work that they do day in and day out. A special word of appreciation goes to Wally Anderson, the government agent, and Kathy Holmes, the deputy government agent. And I know that Wally and Kathy do a great job and both make a tremendous contribution to your community. On behalf of the provincial government, I want to thank them very, very much for their hard work and their efforts. Dealing with the public and being the front line of government can sometimes be a difficult task. Like those of us who are in elected office, you are expected to have every answer to every question and every solution to every problem. But unlike the politician, you always have the answers and you always have the solutions. Your good work is reflected in the community around you, and I commend all of you for your hard work and dedication. In closing, I would like to congratulate all those involved in making today's announcement a reality. It was through your efforts that this centre is being opened today. The success of this project is based on working together. And I know that by working with your community, this complex will play a pivotal role in Cranbrook and the East Kootenays for many years to come. It now gives me a great deal of pleasure to declare the new Access Centre officially open. And I'll ask the mayors to come up and cut the ribbon with me. So like garden shears. Move forward on this way. Yeah, right. Declare the Access Centre in Cranbrook officially open. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Hagen, for officiating our opening ceremony and sharing this special occasion with us. To everyone who was involved in the project, thank you for your efforts and dedication. I want to specifically acknowledge the contributions of Brian Wallace, Philip Jones, George Forrest, Brent Warren, the contractors, and especially the staff of the Access Centre for their continuing support. It is our plan that this will be a community-oriented centre, a centre where the residents of Cranbrook and the surrounding communities will acknowledge the access to programs and services, and to give feedback to the government about those programs and services. I invite you to tour the Access Centre and meet the staff. The historical display out here in the centre of the Government Agents Branch is displayed for your information, and the staff will be pleased to respond to any questions or inquiries that you have. At this time, may I present our MP, Mr. Sid Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Honourable Stan Hagen, Minister of Economic Development, Your Worship, Mayor Ogilvie, Your Worship, Mayor Jensen. I'm very, very proud to be here today, invited to the opening of your Access Centre, and I will be giving a short message that Ann Edwards has asked me to convey. As you know, she's in Victoria, also sitting in the legislature, but I was fortunate enough to be in the riding today, and I'm very, very pleased to be here along with many of you to see the opening of this Access Centre. Congratulations on a job well done. I look forward to working very closely with the Access Centre on federal programs that coordinate with federal and provincial programs, and I know the Honourable Stan Hagen has always been a very close working individual in his department with the federal departments. I was in Ottawa when he was in the gallery and introduced by the Speaker of the House as a minister from British Columbia, and I was very, very proud to be there and to see our minister in Ottawa working out programs with the province of British Columbia and with the federal government. Ann Edwards, as I say, has asked me to convey a message. The message is to Wally Anderson, government agent. Dear Wally, congratulations on this occasion of the official opening of the BC Access Centre. Best wishes to you and the staff for the excellent government services provided over the years by dedicated government employees. Yours sincerely, Ann Edwards. Thank you very much. May the centre serve the area well. Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
His Worship, Mayor Jensen would like to make a short presentation.
Thank you. I would like to add to a few comments that were mentioned by the Minister as to this centre is a result of input by the region. I think it is a direct result of the regionalization process. I had the opportunity to work on that regional committee, and I know for a fact the input that we've had from the Cranbrook and the region was a direct result in the building of the building now. It probably would have been built before, but with our input, we were able to get it a little sooner. And I think that can continue on other things that we need to further service delivery, to further economic development within our region. The programs are available at the provincial level, and if we present the need and coordinate the presentation so that we can show that there is involvement, that we want to do it ourselves and help ourselves, we will have that provincial support. Mr. Minister, on behalf of your visit to Cranbrook, I'd like to present you with this pen, just as a token of remembrance.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
In the facility, we have a conference room. It's right at the very back here. In there, we have refreshments and etc. So tour the facility, enjoy it, and thank you very much for coming. Jim, could I get you and the mayor back there to open the cake, cut the cake?
We have to do the cuttings again.
Before you leave, please subscribe to our channel. It will not only help you stay up to date with our videos, It will also be a nice way to show your support for the volunteers who make this project possible. Thanks for watching, and please tune in again.